Welcome back to part 2 of Stop Using This Notary Certificate. Wow, it is important that if you didn't see part 1, you just really do need to press stop and go back to the channel, to the homepage, and watch part 1 first. Otherwise, you're going to be completely lost. My name's Michelle Riley. I want to thank the subscriber and viewer. I think it was you, Alan. I hope I'm right, who brought it to my attention that I had stopped sharing my screen when it was time to take a look at the two websites, Alabama Probate Judges Association website and the National Notary Association website. And so, with my limited video editing skills, I did what I was able to do, and that was just to cut the video off when the technical difficulties came up and then record a whole new one. I'm not at the level yet where I can splice, split, and repair. So hopefully the more videos that I do, the more I'm going to be able to cover up and hide my mistakes. But for now, unfortunately, I have to subject viewers to it. But we did go through and review the problematic notary certificate, so we're not going to do that again. But before we look at that first website, I do want to clarify something. The issue or the problem wasn't with that particular form, which was called the occupancy affidavit. The issue was totally with the notary certificate itself. The part that said sworn to or affirm before me this blank day of blank. That's the issue. And you will see that same phrase or incomplete sentence on other types of documents. It could show up on a contract, a power of attorney form, a last will and testament. I have seen it numerous times on different documents. So it doesn't just show up at loan signings. So be aware when you come across it, you now know what to do. And if you're still unclear, I think the next 10 minutes or so will clear things up for you. All of this means that when you are asked to notarize a signature on a document, one of the first things you should do is review the notary certificate. Do that even before you ask to see the signer's identification. That way you'll know which direction to take before you pull out your pen, your journal, and start writing. All right, before you collect any fees from the signer. All right, that's all I want to say about part 1 for now. So give me a moment to pull up the two websites that I think are excellent resources, and I encourage you to bookmark both of these. All right, the first one, yeah, this is where I got tripped up last time. Let's see how it goes. The website I want you to bookmark and come back to is alpja.org. Stands for Alabama Probate Judges Association. This is where those of you who are brand new notaries will come to get your commission. And those of you who are experienced notaries, this is where you will come to renew your commission. And you will click on the Notary Public Training link to change the page. And it looks as if it changed on your end. Here's that 6-step process that you'll follow to obtain your, to start the notary application process. But we're going to skip all of that for right now. Do come back to this website. It has excellent information. And what we want to take a look at are the sample notary acknowledgments. They really should rename this and call it sample notary certificates, but we'll get there eventually. Because a notary certificate can be an acknowledgement, it can be a jurat, it could be several things. But it's important that you spend time on this website, because here is where you will find 3 examples of very good notary certificates. Here is an example of a general notary acknowledgement. Here's an example of one to use when an entity or a business is involved. And the third one is an example notary certificate for those of you who perform remote notarizations. And so going back to this one, because this general notary acknowledgement is the one you will use more than any other type of notary certificate. Notice the red wording here. It reads, "This is only an example provided as a courtesy. It is not mandated by law." So this is what prompted DF to ask the question, and rightly so. Back in September, when the new law went into effect, that red letters, that sentence was not there. And it gave me and many other notaries the impression that the state of Alabama was requiring us to use these 3 certificates and nothing else. Now, that isn't unheard of. California is one state, and I believe there are a couple of others states that require their notaries to use specific notary certificates. Alabama's not there yet, but I believe the purpose for the Probate Judges Association to place these examples on its website was to show us notaries what a good, ideal, strong notary certificate looks like. And remember, we stated in the first video, a good certificate needs to answer who, what, where, and when. Who are the names, and here we have a space for the signer's name. Who also pertains to the notary credentials, and we have a place for the notary to sign, to print their name. We have their title. We have a place for their notary seal, and we have a place for their commission expiration date. The what refers to the type of notarization that we're being asked to perform. And in this example, they're letting us know it's a jurat notarization because we have the word sworn. We also have the word or the term acknowledged. So technically speaking, this is a hybrid certificate. Not the best example. You're not going to see both of these words in the same notary certificate very often, but at least it's in there. So that gives the notary an idea of how to handle this particular notarization. The where we talked about is the venue. We have a very clear venue. All the notary has to do is print the name of the county where they are conducting the notarization. And then finally, the when. The notary does have a real nice, clearly indicated space to print the date the notarization took place. And so I'm sure if you showed a probate judge the faulty notary certificate that we looked at in part one, the judge would let you know that they don't like that. It just leaves too much room for error and for fraud, where this is more concise. All right. We're not going to spend time on these other two, but now you know that if you are notarizing a signature for, let's say, an officer of a company, a president of an organization, a CFO, depending on the document, they may be signing their name and needing their signature notarized as that officer representing that company. And that's when you would use a more tailored notary certificate. And again, for the few of you who are performing remote notarizations, it is recommended but not mandated that you consider using this notary certificate. I've only used it once because the remote notarizations that I typically do don't allow for this to be attached to the form. Definitely, if you have questions about these sample certificates, please type them in the comments, and I will answer those questions either in the comments or in another video. All right, so again, this is the Alabama Probate Judges Association website where you'll find everything you need to know about being a commissioned notary in the state of Alabama. All right, let's now head over to the next website. Let's hope it carries over. I think it does. I am on the National Notary Association's website, nationalnotary.org. And I clicked on the Knowledge Center, and I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to Laws and Resources. Let me say this. I have been a member of the National Notary Association 2006. Yeah, I think 2006. I see value in being an NNA member. I get a lot of helpful information from their website and articles I certainly have over the years. I think that if you are a new notary or an inexperienced notary, you really should consider becoming a member. They also have an annual Notary Conference. I have attended several of those and enjoyed them immensely. And in fact, they have started a monthly book club where they read a book related to the notary work. And I've not attended one of those yet because I work a 9 to 5 job and it's usually during business hours, but I've heard good things about it. I will do my best to post a link to the June 2024 book club. No, I'll pin it in the comments below. That's what I'll do. It's this week. It's going to be held the week of June 17th. So hopefully you're watching this video in time for that information to be helpful. But for this video, we want to take a look at the NNA's versions of notary certificates. Now, let me warn you, where we're going to go next can only be accessed by members only. So again, I went to nationalnotary.org. I clicked on Knowledge Center, and there's going to be a lot of information that everyone can have access to without being a member. But if you want to see the notary certificate forms and download them, you must be a member. So I am a member, at least I was the last I checked, and now they are asking me to indicate what state I'm in. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. I'm clicking on the drop down arrow and I'm selecting Alabama, and look what pops up. Individual acknowledgement, corporate acknowledgement, proof of execution by a subscribing witness, jurat, and jurat with affiant statement. There's a lot to unpack here. We don't have time to look at every certificate, but if this is information that you want to know more about, I'll let you know what your options are at the end of this video. But for right now, I want us to look at an individual acknowledgement certificate, NNA, compliments of the National Notary Association. You're going to see similarities between this one and the one on the Probate Judges Association's website. Let's just start at the top. Here's the venue, crystal clear. Don't worry about the SS. It's Latin for word, solicit. That isn't important. Trust me, it really isn't. But here it is. Print Alabama, print the county where you're conducting the notarization. That takes care of our where. Here is our when. Nice, roomy, plenty of room to fill out the date that the notarization is taking place. Before me, comma, notice they want us to print the name of the notary in this section. All right, a little different twist, but I don't have a problem with it. So I would print my name as it appears on my notary commission. The undersigned notary public, yeah, that's me, name of the notary, who is also the undersigned, meaning sign their name down here. Personally appeared. Who personally appeared in front of me? This is where I would type either Adam Smith or Eve Smith, but check it out. If I met with both of them, I could print Adam Smith and Eve Smith. Boom. There's no question. Or if I just met with Adam Smith, and again, you have to watch the first video to know what I'm talking about, I would write Adam Smith only, or Adam Smith and draw a line so that no other name could be added. Here they even tackle the how. How did Michelle the notary verify the Smith's identity? Did I personally know them? Did they prove it to me on the basis of satisfactory evidence? Meaning ID, check the box that applies. That takes care of the how. The what is right in here. It is an acknowledgement. And then the who, I'm sorry I skipped this, is also the notary, and there is room for the notary's credentials. It could be the printed name, the commission expiration date, and of course the official seal. And then going even the extra mile, because some states do require this. In Alabama, it is optional. I could write, going back to video 1, title or top type of document, it was that owner's affidavit. What was the date on that owner's affidavit? So whatever that date was, I would print it here. How many pages is the owner's affidavit? I would write 2. Signers other than named above. So if that affidavit listed not only Adam and Eve, but John, I would print John Smith here, and then it would make it clear that I did not notarize John. John's either going to see another notary, or maybe John is out on vacation and he's not bothered, and so his signature doesn't need to be notarized. But that's what you would do there. Now, I know that I went through that quickly. Don't panic. Why? Because the National Notary Association took the extra step to include an instruction sheet that shows you and tells you how to fill out this form correctly. Love it, love it, love it. Must have for new notaries. And granted, the membership for the NNA did go up. I don't know the exact amount, but again, if you were just getting started, go ahead, get a membership for a year, immerse yourself. Just spend every day, an hour every day on the website. Review, read, download. This is an excellent site to get some training under your belt. So these are the 2 websites. Bookmark this one as well, that I feel you will find very helpful. All right, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to get us back to the last couple of slides in that PowerPoint presentation. All right, we are back to the presentation. As you know, in the part 1, the first video, we took a close look at the faulty notary certificate that you now know does more harm than good, so you're going to avoid it at all costs. We spent a little time on the Alabama Probate Judges Association website. This is where we were able to see what a good example of an accurate certificate should look like. And then we just left the website for the National Notary Association that provided even more examples of ideal notary certificates that should show up on a form. That wording, that language is what we want to see, or something very close to it whenever we do a note or perform a notarization. And I think I've repeated the whole where, who, what, when, where, why. Nope, that's not it. The where, the who, the when, and the what. It seemed like a good idea at the time when I came up with it, but as you know, I've tripped myself up on it more than once. All right. So, in closing, it is so important. You're probably asking yourself, so how do you know all this? How can you keep up with all this? It really does come down to training. Um, Training will help you to identify these faulty certificates and know what and what not to do. But whether you're trained or not, it's important that you stop using faulty, outdated notary certificates. Stop guessing at what goes in the blank. I see that a lot in Facebook groups. I get that a lot on phone calls. Now, there are some notaries that are part of my mentorship plan, but it's very common for someone I know nothing about, never met, to call me from an appointment and ask me, Michelle, I'm at a meeting, what do I put here? That's not the time to ask that question. Um, Guessing can get you into trouble. Stop assuming that the notary certificate isn't a big deal. It is a big deal. It's very important. Stop making it easy for someone else to commit fraud on a document that has your signature, your notary seal. Granted, I'm sure the judge will be able to sort it all out in a court of law, but you don't even want it to go that far. And so if you can perfect faulty notary certificates before you sign and stamp them, it will prevent future headaches. And then stop treating your notary training as a one-time event. I meet so many new notaries who tell me, Michelle, I'm ready to become a signing agent. I just got my commission and I just got certified by the NNA. Yes, the NNA is good if you want to be a signing agent, but there are other classes that the NNA holds. There are trainings that I conduct that is going to go deeper and be more state specific. And just because you did a class 10 years ago, it does not mean that that is sufficient training for 2024, especially since the laws have changed. This is the second major, no, I'll call it third major overhaul in Alabama's notary laws since I became a notary in 2005. Okay? How do I know all this? Is because I make it a point to keep training. You should treat yourself to a training class once every 4 years, at least, to brush up and to be knowledgeable. One class won't do it. The classes and webinars that I offer can be found on trainalabama.com. You see them on the screen. This week I'll be doing a free Alabama Notary Accountability Act of 2023 webinar. This is where I'll be going through the most recent law changes and answering questions. If that's something you'd like to learn more about, please head over to trainalabama.com for more information. If you don't find what you're looking for there, please make a note in the comment or shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to respond. I hope you learned something new by watching this video and part 1. And if you didn't learn anything new, hopefully you were reminded of something that you forgot. If so, if you found it beneficial, I want to encourage you to just take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel to help this video and other videos to reach other Alabama notaries. Please don't forget to join our free Facebook group community. It's called Notaries for Alabama Hangout. We have over 1,500 members from all over the state. It's a safe place for you to ask those questions and learn from one another and get some mentoring. Don't forget about the classes that are posted on trainalabama.com. By the way, that's where you'll also find a complete copy of the new Alabama notary law, so you can just download a PDF of that. You can check out some of the other videos here on the YouTube channel. I'm trying my best to just do a brain dump, so to speak, and cover as much information as I can about being an Alabama notary. And again, if you have specific questions or topics you'd like for me to cover, please let me know in the comments. One other thing, you will find links to my ebooks in the channel description. Earlier this year, I self-published 3 books. One is Getting Started as an Alabama Notary. The second is called The Notary Accountability Act of 2023. And the third one goes over the new laws that relate to the Alabama absentee voting requirements. And as most of you know, notaries, we do play a role in absentee voting. Real important information. If anyone listening is looking for customized training for notaries that work for you, if you are employed by a law firm, financial institution, insurance agency, and you feel that the notaries there can benefit from some in-depth, helpful training, please reach out. I do offer that in person, on site, also live Zoom, and pre-recorded self-paced, something for everyone's needs. All right, thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great rest of the day.